to We Are One, the talk show. We have come to the end of February, and we're actually going to do our highlight show. The purpose of the highlight show is basically to show you individuals who have walked their long road of recovery and who have come out successful on the other side. We're going to do an interview with Miss Mary Chirico, and she will talk about her long road of recovery and how she has advanced herself to become the executive director for Hearts and Ears. Highlighting individuals is very important in this particular field, so that we want to show everyone that it is, again, possible to do and become any and everything you choose to do in life, no matter where it is, no matter what it is, no matter how outrageous it may seem. You still have the capacity and the ability to do anything you choose to do. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and send it over to Mary. So today is such an exciting day. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a beautiful person here. And of course, everybody's beautiful in their own way. But this particular individual, this young lady here, I have known her for a number of years. We've come through some rocky roads together, and I've watched her blossom. And I just want you guys to get to know this wonderful woman. And she's going to start by a little bit of an introduction, and then we'll move forward. So, who are you?
I am Mary Chirico. I am currently the director of Hearts and Ears. We are a small nonprofit for the LGBT community who have mental health issues.
Beautiful. So tell us a little bit about you, Miss Mary.
Well, I'm from outside of Philadelphia. That's where I grew up. I think starting around 8 or 9 years old, I always felt like there was something different about me. But of course, there was no therapy or anything then. I just kept feeling different. Mm-hmm. And I think as a teenager, I started trying to self-medicate, mostly with alcohol, a little bit of drugs, but mostly alcohol. And I was not actually diagnosed until I was 27 years old. And I was diagnosed as bipolar. And then I also later was diagnosed with PTSD. When I was diagnosed, it was a relief. It was like, oh, so that's what's been going on all this time.
Oh, so you had an aha moment.
I did. I really, because I had felt like I was the only person that felt this way. Okay. And I could not figure out what was wrong with me. And like I said, I used the alcohol to try to drown those feelings and numb myself. So when I found out, it was like, okay, so what do we do now? So it was really a relief, but it also took a while for them to find the right combination of medicines and therapy to help me. It took a number of years, and I've been very lucky now. I have not been hospitalized. I think it's been 10 years. Oh, wow. So for me, that's a good thing, because I wasn't in and out of hospitals, but I would go a couple times a year. I had a lot of suicidal attempts and things like that. So, yeah. So 10 years is a good thing for me.
So you were saying, tell us about some of those dark, murky times when you were self-medicating and you found yourself in the hospital because of suicide attempts.
So a lot of it was because I didn't know I was bipolar. I didn't understand. I would have these really high highs, and I would just be all over the place. I'd have so much energy and feel like I could do anything. And then when I would drop down into the depression, it just felt like I just thought that this is the end. There was nothing to live for. Mm-hmm. It was hard to connect that the highs and lows were actually connected together, so it would feel like this is it. I just can't go on anymore. It's too hard. I was also dealing with trauma from when I was a child, and that made everything even more difficult, because I would just feel like it wasn't worth even trying. So when I got diagnosed, it was such a relief to know that, this is what's happening, and there are patterns here, and we can figure them out. So But yeah, there were some times when I was very, very low and feeling like I had no use in the world and nobody would miss me and all of those kind of feelings that a lot of us get when we get depressed.
How did this affect your family or your relationships with your family and friends?
My family has always been kind of accepting, like, you know, they just, even when I was younger, I remember them saying, oh, she's the crazy one, you know, so they always knew something was going on. And they've been pretty accepting, but we're not super close. So I didn't grow up with my mother for most of my life. And my dad, he tried to understand, he really did, but it was difficult for him.
Isn't it always amazing how your family knows how to single you out and say, oh
Absolutely.
yeah, you're the extra special one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have that. My family always says, the fun doesn't start till you get here. Like, okay, is that a compliment?
Yeah. I used to be called the black sheep, but then when I came out, I decided I was the rainbow sheep.
Oh yes. Gotta have those beautiful colors.
So yeah, but yeah, even when I was young, they knew something was going on, but nobody did anything. There was no treatment, no doctors or anything.
So tell us how you came out of that dark time and into your recovery. How did recovery start for you?
I think initially it started with stopping the drinking. I had done AA for a long time. I had some difficulties with some of the AA groups because they don't just push spirituality, they insist on having a God. They insist on having Jesus Christ in your life, and that was not where I was. So I didn't stay with AA, but I have since found other ways of dealing with that, with the alcohol. But I think when I got diagnosed, like I said, it took a number of years for the medications to be figured out, but when they were, it was like, okay, I don't have the highs and I don't have the lows, so maybe I can do something. Maybe I can be productive. And I did work at some jobs part-time, but as you know, I went to STEP, which was the Shapiro Training
Employment Program.
Thank you.
Yes, that's what it is.
I often
Go
forget.
Goodwill.
But yes, that's actually where we met. And I think I initially went to that as just something to do.
Yes.
I had no idea that it would like change my life.
And boy, did
And
it ever.
it really did, because growing up I always thought, I'm not a people person. I don't want to work with people. You know, just put me in an office by myself or something. But then suddenly I found out that I really do care about people and what happens to them and how they're treated and trying to help them feel as good as I did. And I think it made a big difference.
It did. I remember meeting you at STEP. Oh my goodness. I just thought your personality was so out there. And I remember meeting Laura right there too, because she used to come and say hello. And I remember being jealous of you, because you seemed to have it all on the ball, and I was so lost. I had just gotten back here from California, and I didn't know my left from my right, and everybody was teasing me about what you come over here for. And
Well, we're
like,
jealous
look
of
at
the
her.
weather over there.
But I remember you were just so outgoing and so optimistic about so many things. I think the only thing I ever saw you afraid of was the day that we were told, what was negotiations? That negotiation brings out the real person. And you were like, no, Drea, you do it. Man, I ain't got nothing on you.
No, together we were wonderful at negotiations.
Come on, Mary, be honest. You took over that.
I don't know about that.
Yes, you did. Mary was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And the next thing you hear, bow, this is how this is. Look, I've got it. She had the numbers and the logistics and the what was it? You did the research, and I was like, wow. And it was on a car, wasn't it? We were supposed to sell a car that was really old.
No, we were supposed to be community treatment team
That's right.
and two different things and
To
split
get
the
the
money. Right, and I wanted to split it fairly, which we could have gotten all of it if we really
Could've
wanted
gotten
to.
it. The way you had it set up, we would have gotten all that money. But
That
I
was
tell you,
fun.
you just came right out and just shine like this big star, and I'm telling you, I haven't seen it dim yet.
I don't know about that, but I've been pretty lucky. I mean, I've been lucky with my recovery. You know, I've had a few slips with the alcohol, but I always just get right back into, you know, the sobriety. And, you know, I've had a few episodes of mania and stuff, but nothing severe. And I think because I've gotten as far as I have, I know that it's just a temporary situation. I can look at it and go, okay, I'm not doing well right now, but I know it'll get better. So I think that makes such a difference, because when you feel so hopeless and you feel like it's never going to get better,
Right.
it's impossible to really do anything.
So what are some of the coping skills that you use when you find yourself kind of slipping a little bit to bring yourself back up?
Well, of course, I see my therapist every week. And she's tremendous, because she'll remind me of how far I've come, because she knew me. I think I've been seeing her 12 or 13 years. So she's seen me at my lowest and seen me come pretty far. And she'll remind me of that. And then, of course, my friends. I have, you know, the best friends who will also remind me. And they'll understand. I mean, it's good to have people who really understand where you've been and what you've been through. And I think having people to talk to is probably one of the most important things, you know. And then I use my wellness tools, you know, my music, and I like to write and those kind of things. But I think the most important thing is having people who understand.
So has your diagnosis hindered you from gaining employment?
No, actually it helped. Because as I said, I'm the director here at Hearts and Ears, and having an illness is what makes me be able to relate to the people we work with, because pretty much everyone in here has some sort of mental health issue. They either have a diagnosis like I do, or they might just be experiencing, you know, some depression from the loss of a loved one or something, but we can relate to that, and that's what makes this place special. And that's what peer support is all about, you know, having someone that relates to how you're feeling and what you're going through.
So tell us about your rise within the organization.
Okay. I actually started right after I left STEP. I started with Hearts and Ears, and I started just doing groups, and I was a peer specialist, but back then they weren't certified. So, and then took a break from Hearts and Ears for a couple of years. And then when there was new management, I came back as a peer specialist, and I did that for a number of years. And then the position of director opened up. And so I've been doing that, I guess, about 2 years now.
All right.
So it's exciting because, you know, even as recently as 2 years ago, I didn't think I could do a full-time job. I thought part-time was the best I could do, and I was happy with that. So being able to do something I love and do it full-time is tremendous.
Okay. And it doesn't affect how you're able to manage your life and your health and your well-being?
It can be stressful. The job can be stressful, and but I try really hard again to talk to the people who know me, and they'll remind me, and they'll say, you know, you're getting stressed out, you need to take some time, or you need to take care of yourself. And so again, I'm still relying on those same friends that know me so well.
So when you're out in the community and you're out and about, and you encounter other people, can they tell that you are extraordinary?
No.
Okay. Can they see the addiction that you once had, or the mental health diagnosis?
You can't see it. I happily tell people though, but no, you can't see it. You can't tell. I used to think I had crazy written across my forehead.
Yeah,
I really did feel that way, but now I know that's not the case. People just see me as the director of a nonprofit.
So what advocacy efforts do you participate in right now?
So we do a lot of going to different organizations and training them on LGBT issues, and then also being in the community and having the mental illness. We've done a lot with the VA and different hospitals and that kind of thing. We also are involved. There is a lobby day in February, and we're going to attend that. And that's really empowering for people. It gives them a chance to speak to the legislators and to really feel heard. And that's really important. And then we just do the little, day-to-day, going to a doctor's appointment with someone and making sure they're treated right and understood and those kind of things.
See, I told you she was a star. And it's been such a pleasure being here with you and talking with you. And thank you so much for participating and educating them. It is really important that we educate everyone that we are not the monsters under the bed.
Yes.
We
are not what you see in the movies.
Hello. Well, thank you once again.
Mary's story is pretty powerful. I remember when I met her years ago, how lost I was and how I thought she had it all together. I would have never have guessed that she had gone through or was going through all of the challenges that she was facing at that time. And to see her in the position that she's in right now just brings my heart joy. Becoming a certified peer recovery specialist is a long process, and it depends on which state that you reside in, the processes that you have to go through in order to get it. But I guarantee you it's definitely worth it. Becoming that particular peer specialist gives you not only the credibility, but it also makes you a professional in the field of what you hold dear the most, which is the expertise you have on your own experience. And that helps you to help others. Thank you so much for joining us during this highlight series. We're going to do it again at the end of March. And the individual who I have available, she is absolutely wonderful, and I can't wait for you all to meet her. In the meantime and in between time, remember to love you. Give yourself a good hug. Matter of fact, here's one for you. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Take care of yourself. Be safe. And thank you.